Oh, hey, everyone out there on YouTube. I'm Maria, and I am a yarn elf, and this is my podcast about yarn and art and all the good stuff that I do. So, um, introductions. I'm Maria. Um, my primary thing is knitting and crochet, so expect a lot of that. But I also, as I said, I do art, and I'm dabbling in gardening and plant stuff, so maybe that will show up from time to time. We'll see. Um, but yeah, let's just get into it. I guess this will be just like a typical any other knitting or yarn related podcast. Um, so, hmm, uh, everyone always loves a good yarn haul purchase type situation, so I'll do that first. I went to Michael's recently. I live in Canada, so I don't know if Michael's in Canada gets the same yarns as Michael's in the States. I really like Michael's in the States because I'm actually from the US. And so when I visit family, I always like to visit Michael's, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, places like that. So but yeah, I do kind of feel like Michael's in Canada doesn't have quite the selection that down in the States does. Um, but maybe it does. I'm actually not quite sure. But I feel like Michael's in the States has more. But the yarn haul it's not big, but it's in particular for amigurumis and dolls for my daughter. So it's all acrylic yarn, and just for example, I got everybody knows yarn, Red Heart Super Saver, right? Ooh. So, and this is the color Cafe Latte. So, not much beyond that. I think we all know good old Red Heart Super Saver. But a yarn that was new to me that I've never tried before. And I've tried a lot of acrylic yarns. This one's new, and it's Michael's. Well, it's not new. It's new to me. I think it's been out for some years now. And that's the Michael's Craft Smart. So their version of basically Red Heart Super Saver. And I can say, like, on first impressions, just touching this is way softer. I will see how it works up. Because I use acrylic yarns mostly for the dolls and the amigurumis that I make my daughter. So I'll see how it works up for stuff like that, but this was one that I grabbed in this color, and it is, do they give color names? Taupe, just a regular color there. I also got this one, which is in Mushroom, and this one in Dark Chocolate. And this one my daughter picked out. She loves bright, happy stuff. Fiesta. And this will probably end up being, actually I think she requested a pillow out of this. So, and then a cool thing I saw, which, I feel like everyone is coming out with like little versions of their acrylic yarn they have to offer. Like even these up here, if you're familiar with Knit Picks, they have their acrylic is Brava, and they now sell Brava in these tiny little balls. You can buy like a pack of 20 or something like that. But it appears they've even done it with the craft yarn from Michael's, and I found these up by the cash register, so they weren't with the yarn, but they were like $1 a piece or something, and not all the colors, but this is Butter. And then this is Bisque. and this is peach. And these little ones are, it says 40 grams with 71 yards. So that's not too bad, especially if you just wanted to try it or you only needed a small amount, because you know these big ones, these come with 300 something, right? 354 yards. So if they have the color but a much smaller one and you know you only need that much, that's not too bad. And then I also had to grab a Loops and Threads Impeccable, which is another their brand of yarn, right, from Michaels. And this is the color Clear Blue. So, and that is all, well, except for the bright colorful yarn, that is all for dolls and, yep, dolls. So, let's see. So yeah, yarn hauls from Michaels. That's always fun. And then what am I working on? I'll start with a doll. Let's see. This is the, this is a very good doll base. I like to grab doll base patterns because my daughter typically likes characters from like games or shows that maybe there's not like plushies for, because it's either a little unknown or it's just, you know, they just don't make dolls for it. And so I will get doll base, you know, just like the base doll pattern. I cannot find the cover of this, and I will just make it from that. But this doll pattern I've done before. It's like this. You can see her little feet. And then it goes up. And this is a really, really good doll pattern. I've done it before. It makes a really pretty and cute doll. This is going to be Agent 3, which is from the video game Splatoon. She's an inkling, which are like these little squid people. And they have tentacles for hair. So, and this is going to be the tentacle color. Very fun. This is Knit Picks Brava in the color Alfalfa. So that was the color she wanted the tentacles in. And this whole thing is out of Knit Picks Brava. So, yay, traffic sounds. But yes, that is in the works. I'm almost done with the head, and so it shouldn't take too much longer to finish that doll. Once the body and the head and everything, it's a nice pattern because it works from the feet up, so you never have to really seam anything except the very end where you know, might want to put hair on the doll, or if you want to make clothing and whatnot. And I can't find, oh, here it is. There's the front of it. This is called Amigurumi Sonia the Doll. There it is. See, it's just the base doll pattern. And I don't want to butcher the name, but this is who it's by. It's an Etsy shop that I bought this on. And yep, really, really good pattern. So, let's see, what else am I working on? Sorry about that. I guess I'll pick back up on the socks because I'm not quite sure where I was. So, yep, so I'm working on a pair of socks. Show this again. There it is. Knit Picks Felici, and this is the Aquarium colorway. And for those who are unfamiliar with the Knit Picks Felici line, it's their self-striping yarn. So when you knit up a pair of socks, this is what it will look like. And I am really loving this colorway. On the camera, that's showing up pretty true to color. It's very pretty. I love these kind of colors. And it does make me think of an aquarium, although maybe a slightly dirty one because it kind of looks green like the algae. Um, but, you know, anyway, I really like Felici. I like self-striping yarn because I've kind of realized that when it comes to sock knitting, I really need those stripes or a lot of color happening or something because if it's like a solid color sock, I can't seem to finish a sock like that. Even with an interesting stitch pattern, I need those like stripes happening so that, I don't know, what do they call it? Like it's like a progress kind of. You feel like you're actually making progress, whereas solid color socks, they just feel like nothing's happening. So, but yes, I'm really enjoying that, and hopefully I didn't start those too long ago, like maybe 4 days ago. So if they go quick enough, I have more Felici socks that I can knit. And then let's see, I have this. This is a shawl that I started last year. And I haven't been working on it, not because I don't like it, it's like the lowest, I guess, priority yarn project. So it hasn't seen much attention as of late, but that's okay. I will get to it. This is the Mindfulness Shawl by, by Annie Lupton of Boho Chic Fiber Company. And that's just a black and white picture, but very pretty. And this is how mine is going. And this yarn is, it's dyed by Sweet Paprika Designs, which is a local to me yarn dyer. And yeah, I forget the base and colorway of the yarn, but I do like Sweet Paprika yarn colors. They're very, very pretty, like kind of tonals, all of them. But that's a project that does not get much attention at the moment, and that's okay. It'll get done eventually. And then another project going on. Along with Splatoon, my daughter is into shows like Whack Fu, which is on Netflix. I'm sure maybe some other parents out there will know about Whack Fu. But there are these people on there called Eliotropes. They are like dragon type people, and they wear these long hats. And so that's basically what this is going to be. This is crocheted out of some Caron 1 pound, and it's just a tube at the moment in double crochet. There you can see the seam, but yeah, I just started it like I would a hat, like I'm crocheting from the bottom up, but yeah, I'm just making a tube because the way their hats work, it's like they wear a hat and it goes all the way down their back, and then down at the end there's some kind of like white tuffy stuff that comes out of the bottom. So it'll probably use up a fair chunk of this, and then I'll have to maybe get some white yarn, or I was even thinking white faux fur yarn would look cute popping out of the bottom of it. But this will hopefully be done relatively soon. It shouldn't take too much longer because I'm just doing, like I said, double crochet tube, which it works up pretty quick. So, and then next main project I've been working on is a corner to corner hat. This is in Knit Picks Brava Bulky in the colorway Camel Heather. And here's the blanket. Nothing too crazy. It is just a corner to corner blanket, and the reason I'm making a giant, well, it's not going to be too big, but a corner to corner blanket with this is, this yarn, funny enough, is probably the one yarn I have ever ordered from Knit Picks that I don't want to say I didn't like it, but it was a shock a bit when I received it, because I bought like a pack of 10 of it when it was like on sale for like $1 a ball, which, you know, because Knit Picks has usually a couple yearly sales that are quite big, and the one in the fall in particular, usually they have like a dollar yarn days kind of deal, and that was a yarn that they listed for like $1 a ball, and I was like, ooh, you know, grab like 10 of those, right? Because normally it's like 3 a ball. And the color is not at all what I was expecting. The picture on the website, and I don't know if they've changed it, but it was the picture on the website, at least on my monitor, was like, it was 10 shades lighter than what that is. It was a very, not super light, but, you know, something a bit more akin to maybe like this basket that's behind me or something. It was a bit of a shock. I don't mind the color. I like all colors. I can't actually think of a color I dislike. So, you know, it just wasn't what I was, and that's the only time I've ever had that happen, ordering from Knit Picks. Whenever I've ordered from them, the colors are always very accurate to the pictures on the website. So I don't know what the deal was there, but yep, simple corner to corner blanket, nothing crazy going on there. And this is like almost a Knit Picks video, but I do like Knit Picks yarn. So if you continue to watch, which you should, because why not? It's fun to talk yarn and listen to yarn. I mean, I listen to podcasts all the time because yarn is a great thing. Anyway, you will find out that yes, I'm a big Knit Picks fan. I have been for a while. I like their consistency with their yarn. I don't, like, if you know, generally speaking, I would say like all their yarns are they're definitely of good quality, and I don't think there's ever been a yarn that I ordered from Knit Picks that I totally disliked. So they do a good job of kind of curating, making sure that any yarn they do offer it's good. Like, it's easy to work with. You know, it doesn't come with a bunch of, like, you know, the kind of issues that yarn can have, like splitting or whatever. I've never had issues with any of their yarns. So, but this is a very Knit Picks centered project, because the pattern is they are having a crochet along blanket this year, which is a temperature blanket. And the way it works is every day you check the temperature for where you live, and based on the temperature you then crochet a square. And so before you start, you sit down and make like temperature range brackets. And so I live in Canada, and weather, temperature, and everything is Celsius here. So for example, maybe 0 to 5 degrees Celsius, and then 6 to 10 degrees Celsius, and, you know, up and down. And each bracket is assigned a color. And then so you end up with something like this going on. And yeah, I'm going to have a monster amount of ends to weave in. I was doing really good about weaving them in. Kind of fell off that train though, so I need to get back to it. But this has been the weather as of late. Very all over the place. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this, because, you know, one square takes like 10 minutes tops to work up, and it's join as you go. So you just join it right to the blanket, and, you know, if I miss a few days, it's okay. It's very easy to sit down and, you know, spend an hour to play catch up for a week, really, if I need to, which I don't think I've let it go for a week. Most of the time, if I need to catch up, it's like 2-3 days or something like that, which isn't too bad. And I believe like for their crochet along, I almost said knit along, crochet along, they're calling for their swish is what it's written for, which is their merino yarn, but I'm doing mine out of Brava, mostly because even though swish is like, it's a superwash merino, and I know there's lots of superwash wools out there, when it comes to something like a blanket, I don't know, I err on the side of going with acrylic because it's so large, and this I just know will really take the washer and dryer well, as opposed to wool, which, you know, even things that are superwash and wool, and you're not careful. Like I've had wool socks that I've knit that had holes like just torn into them because of washer and dryer on gentle cycles and stuff too. Like it just happens. And you know, on something like a sock, okay, you can fix it or, you know, patch it up a little, but a blanket might be a bit bigger of an ordeal to have it destroyed, I guess. And this is going to be a gift for my daughter too, who's, you know, she's 8 years old, and not like she's like super messy or anything, but she, you know, accidents happen with kids and stuff, you know, so it'll just clean up easier and everything. So yeah. And let's see, I think that's all my major works in progress for knit and crochet right now. I do have one other blanket, but that is a very long-term project because it's a very large blanket. It's probably going to end up being borderline king size. Might need a video all to its own at some point, but basically, and it's like kind of tucked away in my, where I store my yarn, because it's just, you know, that large of a project. But it's taking also some Knit Picks Brava Sport, and each ball I crochet it into as large of a granny square as it can be, and then I will join them all, and hopefully that will make a really cool looking large blanket. But that's a long-term project, very long-term. So I do have a couple sort of recently finished objects for knit and crochet. This one is not too recent, but I did want to show something. This is a cowl that I finished a few weeks back. You can see it's got like a little, the front is this part over here, so it rests, you know. And this yarn is Wool Folk Far. That is hard to say. This is probably the softest merino I have ever felt. It's like it was like knitting with a cloud. It is incredible. It is a luxury yarn, which is why I only bought a small amount to make a small project. But I really wanted to try it because, you know, I had heard a lot about it. And, you know, and you hear sometimes, like when you watch these different podcasts or like yarn reviews and stuff, of like these kind of luxury yarns, of how wonderful they are. And it does make you curious, like, is it really kind of worth the price tag? And with this, I would say yes. Like a sweater made of this would be like the dream sweater. Probably a little bit difficult to take care of because it's so soft and lofty. Like this will pill a lot, and you know, I mean, you can already kind of see it's quite fuzzy, but it's so incredibly soft, and if well taken care of, you know, I'm sure it will last. But it's you know, I just can put it on my face all day. It's so soft. Like it's, I can't even, I don't know. I do want to try to find a more budget friendly alternative to this. Just because feeling something that is like this, so soft against the skin, I'm like, oh wow, like yeah, if you had a sweater knit of something like this, that would be just incredible. And it's very warm. That's the other thing too. You wouldn't think, or I don't know. I mean, sorry, my My scarf is acting crazy. Um, what was I saying? Oh yeah, like when I knit this, as I was knitting it, it's so light and lofty that I didn't think it would be warm. And I'm in Quebec, Canada, which winter and even spring here. Spring here is quite chilly, and winter here is brutal. But this has been like the perfect spring cowl, and I'm sure it will be the perfect fall cowl. It warms up, and it just completely is like the coziest hug from a cloud ever around the neck. So yeah, it's the quality is there for sure. So yes, very very nice. And I'll put that there. And then the only other recently finished thing is a hat, and this is a crocheted hat. The pattern is from Bago de Crochet, um, a channel I'm sure many people are familiar with. I forget I think this was a hat that she designed it was called like a tracker hat. She had a friend who knits, I believe is the case, and they designed a hat, and this was her designing the crochet version, and it's very nice. I think it looks cool. And this was just some red heart with love that I had in the stash. I used up a good chunk of that, so that was good. But I think that's all to share in the knit and crochet. And so I also do cross stitch, which I'll grab that next. Move on to another craft real quick. Cross stitch, I picked up. I tried it once when I was much younger, I think a teenager, but then last year, as with everyone with lockdown and things, picked up yet another craft to add to the list. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's fun to rediscover a craft. I remember having fun with it when I learned it when I was much younger, and then to pick it back up and everything has been a lot of fun. So this is like something I finished over the winter, just to share a finished object that's not too old. But it's a pair of orcas because they're my favorite animal. I love orcas. So, but yes, that was fun. And so now what I'm working on is, let me find the pattern. So this is the pattern, just off of the DMC thread website because they have a ton of free patterns. And this is my progress. And I have totally I don't know what happened. I messed this part of the moon up, okay? And I ripped it out. And I was very frustrated by that because when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, what did I do wrong? And I thought I had figured it out because everything else had been lining up with the pattern correct. And then I went to do it again, and a similar mistake happened, and I just did what I could to fix it. And it'll be fine. I will work with it, adjust. So by the end of it, I'm sure I won't even be able to tell, and it's only really drastic looking because that's a dark purple against a light thing. But this is what it will look like in the end. It's like a moon and stars motif, which will be really pretty. Maybe I'll hang it up, hang some stuff up here to fill in this void right here above my shoulder. Isn't that what YouTubers do? Fill in voids, something? I don't know. But anyway, yep. Before I go into some weird ramble, I think that's about all my craft works in progress for the moment. I have many other works in progress when it comes to things like art and stuff, especially digital art. So, and I don't know if I'll share that stuff here, maybe make a separate channel, maybe just keep this like traditional crafts kind of stuff related. But I guess final note is kind of a shameless self-promotion because I do sell hand-dyed yarn on Etsy. So I can definitely show some of what I have to offer. Today's date is May 1st. So if you see this and you see yarn you like, as of today, it is available. So, but these are some examples of stuff that I have dyed. So there's this. This is on a Highland wool nylon base, and it's a sock yarn, or sock weight. You could use it for anything. But just a pretty minty green color. That's like a one-of-a-kind type thing. Here's another on the same base, which is like this charcoal gray black with like little undertones of color. And I think I have this listed in the shop as Magic. And then here's these. Same base. Highland, it's like 80% Highland wool, 20% nylon. And makes excellent socks because it's a bit more durable bait, like the wool, the Highland wool. Yeah, I have knit socks out of this base before, and they're fantastic and comfortable, and yeah, and hats too. It makes good hats. So this is called Druid. Nice greens and some browns. And let's see. Also on the same base is this one, which I don't think I gave a name. It's very similar to the Druid one, except it's got blue in it. It makes me almost think of peacock tail. Yeah, peacock colors. So there's that. And then these, I believe, are also kind of just one-of-a-kind colorways. This light little purple tonal on the same base of the Highland wool and nylon. And then this one is a different base. This is going into different yarns. So this one is similar, but this is on a merino nylon blend. And the purples are a bit more contrasting in it. And then we have this. Another one of a kind that's listed in the shop. Also on the same base of merino and nylon. And then I have two of these, which made me think of a macaw. Those very bright, pretty parrots. So I believe it's called the Grand Macaw in the shop. And this is also the merino nylon blend. That's fingering weight, sock weight. But you don't have to make socks with it, obviously. You can make hats, and sock weight makes really good shawls as well. So yeah, I have an Etsy shop, and the link will be down below if you want to view those lovely yarns. I am running a bit of a pretty deep sale at the moment too, because I want to try and get as much of it out as possible, because I do have some upcoming project ideas in mind, and in order to buy the yarn for it, because basically I want to start writing my own patterns, but I want to write patterns for yarn that I dye, because I dye this yarn and then I have cool ideas of what to make it with. So, but anyway, that's all I have to share, I think, right now. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening. If you listened this whole way through, good on you. And yeah, I hope you're having a lovely day and peace be upon you all.